All right. Okay. Okay. Okie dokie. Content. Let's see if this works. Hi. Hello, everyone. Hi, and welcome to the stream. God knows if I remember how to do this. I've been bad once again with remembering to do this regularly, but I'm trying. I'm trying. And today we are doing a end of the month hangout in the middle of a heat wave, and I'm coming to you live from a unventilated room in the middle of a heat wave. So we'll see how this works. I hope everyone's doing okay. I'm working hard trying to make this make my next video come out while battling everything from heat wave to just like everyday being life. You know how it is. But today's a hangout. The way that hangout works is we hang out for a bit. We're gonna try for at least half an hour, depending on how many people hang out. It's also like May and like the start of summer season is also the worst streaming season, if that makes sense, because more people are just out or like starting their holidays, or if they're not, like they're like it's less of a I'm gonna enjoy like a YouTuber stream season. It's more like a, oh god, the heat is killing me, what am I going to do type of season. So might not be a ton of people here just now, and but that's fine. We will simply stream until I get no more rants, until I don't have any more rants in me. Fuck, I can't speak. I'm very bad at my own job. Let me see, however, though. We have got some comments that I've been wanting to mention. First of all, hi everyone. Hello. Hello Spinoli. Hello Joshua. Hello Geston. Other one. Because I wasn't message him because I was on a like a bit like it happens. But like I've been not like the most regular with my streams, unfortunately, to my own detriment. You know, for a myriad of reasons as well. Also, like, have anyone looked at the news? Like, who isn't burnt out at this point? You know, just from the world being what it is. You know, it's a chaotic hellhole to be alive in this world as it is right now. Anyway, will there be a link to view this on YouTube? I hope so. There should be. There should be a way to look at this on YouTube, because it's a public video. So people should be able to join in. We'll see how that goes. Spinoli also asks, this is also says on Patreon, this is how I found out Mia posted a video 3 months ago that YouTube never showed me. No, YouTube has not been showing my more recent videos to people at all, especially my most recent video. Like, granted, like, you know, I was away for a while because I had something called mental health, and so, you know, the algorithm doesn't love that super much. But also YouTube changed how like their subscription page worked. So now it doesn't just show you your subscriptions, it shows you sort of like, it's like a for you page of like the most suggested stuff out of your subscriptions, and then it shows you like a chronological list of your videos at the end. And I'm like, why must you do this? YouTube is a piece of shit anyway. YouTube is like the best. YouTube is the worst video hosting website on the website, except for all the other ones. So like, it's good it's only popular despite itself, and I hate it. And yet here I am. Anyway, hi everyone. What a joyous mood to the stream today. I promise I am in a good mood. And I also do apologize to the people for whom this stream is at like 3 a.m. or something like that, because I have recently gotten an influx of followers from, I think this would be like New Zealand and Australia, and I do apologize for people in that time zone, but I can't. Time works in bad ways. I also got an anonymous question earlier on asking what video I'm working on. So I was working on a video about nootropics, and I got like halfway done with that video, but I started getting writer's block, and it got to the point where I was just like, I had no passion for the video, because it felt very much like my heart wasn't in it, and when my heart's not in it, then it's not gonna be a good video. And I'm not gonna have fun making it. I'm not gonna be proud of it. It's not gonna further what I want to do, right? So I put that one on the back burner a little bit, and I have since been making some sort of like fever dream about taxes. So I'm gonna make a video about taxes, and it should be out reasonably soon. And hopefully at some point I'll finish the video about nootropics, because I worked hard on it for a long fucking time. So putting it on the back burner for no reason is like, right. But I'm making a video about taxes. That's gonna be fun. It should be up reasonably soon. I was hoping to have it done for May, but then a heat wave has struck, and then I had like 4 family emergencies, like one after the other, which had a bit of a delaying effect. It's always some shit going on, isn't it? I love being in my 30s. There's always some shit going on. Anyway. Kind of stopped watching stream a while ago, but your ones are usually interesting, so I'll stay. Hope you're doing all right. Thank you so much. That's so kind to hear. I like to think that I have somewhat of an amusing presence. Just because I don't know. I don't know why, but I'm glad that you find it interesting. So I'm happy with that. Just take the win, Mia. Geshen asks, were you half Dutch? Were? Past tense? I used to be, but I've transitioned. I'm now half Hungarian. No, yes, I am half Dutch. My father's side of the family is Dutch. So when I was growing up, I had a lot of much experience of like vaguely Nordicist nationalism of a lot of Swedish kids who were like fully Swedish, making fun of me for having a non-Swedish last name and having hair that curled slightly differently than the other Swedish kids. This is like not a joke. I distinctly remember being made fun of for like having slightly curlier hair. And it's like, I know that xenophobia is weird, and I know that like the Nordic countries are really xenophobic at times, but like, come on, Jesus. Since moving to France, I have noticed interesting, not amusing. Holy shit, that's a good burn. Don't get it wrong, it's not fun. It's not amusing, it's interesting. I know what you mean. But since moving to France, I have noticed that people do clock me as being like vague, like no one assumes where I'm from anymore. Whereas when I was in Sweden, people would always assume I was from Germany, which is interesting. I'll be spending the first week in July bicycling in the Netherlands. What are the must-see places? Fuck if I know. So I don't know that much. I know that there is I don't know the names of anything is the thing. Like I vaguely know, like seeing the big dikes and seeing the fields of tulips with the windmill. I keep like that. I that's the things. I have no idea where those are. I have no idea where what the names are. There is, however, there is one place which you should definitely go to, which is a depending on what kind of phobias you have, I guess. I think it's an Apollon. It's an open air like primate zoo where like the monkeys just are like out. And that's fun. You could go there. I went there as a child, and it wasn't it wasn't the, I know it was not an insult, but it was very funny. So no, but like an open and like that kind of zoo would be fun. I think it's an Apeldoorn. I think, if I remember correctly. I mean, I went there as a child. I don't remember. Alas, I do not remember. Hello, everyone. Josh Ryan asks, did you try any brain boosting supplements to give you the edge in finishing the nootropics video? So like the thing like, God, this is what the video was going to be, and also where I kind of like hit a wall, because I want to. I know I ramble about this. I think every goddamn stream I do, but I watch a lot of video essays, as a lot of I think YouTube video essayists do. And one thing that really grinds my gears is when a YouTube video essay, which like 80% of them fall into this trap of the way, including some of my own, which I don't like. Some of my own, few, but like one or two of mine have done this, and I hate it. Where the video essayist isn't commenting on anything and isn't like saying anything, but is only explaining something. But and like that sounds fine, but like I think there's a difference between like an informatic video and a video that's like styled as a video essay. Like it's one thing to sort of like watch what's it called, like casual navigation or something like that. It's like a seafaring channel that I like to watch, and they do a lot of like explaining style videos. But like if I go into a video and I want to learn about, you know, why like some ships blow air bubbles underneath them while they travel, like, you know, they have a question that they want answered. But if you have like a video essay, I think you expect a little bit more of like of an opinion, not just like an explanation of facts. And so I always want to have like an opinion about something, and I want to have that opinion be like justified. And so I was making the video about nootropics, and I made a whole thing about like the history of nootropics and what even defines a nootropic, and like the chemicals behind it, and like the interactions with the chemicals in the brain. And then I came to the point of where like, okay, I've done the explaining part, which is like that's fine. That's an explaining video, but that's not the type of video that I do. So then what? Like, where's the opinion coming in? And like, I do have opinions on nootropics. Like, the industry is very poorly regulated. A lot of the stuff you buy is like directly harmful to you. And then I had the trouble of sort of like, okay, well, how do I make a video where that opinion is like the focus of it? And then I had a hard time bridging that gap. Because, and like the reason I had a hard time breaking that gap is because like, I had a hard time talking about my opinion without oversimplifying the explanation, if that makes sense. So like I can talk about, let's say that I talk about nootropics and I talk about sort of like brain boost pills, for example, and that's all I do. And then I talk about like how brain boost pills are very poorly regulated and they contain a bunch of harmful shit and they will harm you and that's bad, and therefore nootropics are bad. That would be fine, but that is a very small. But then I'm completely, and like, sure, that's an opinion, but it's a weak opinion because the explanation segment of that opinion would be so undermined by how little it is that the opinion is basically worth nothing. So for example, like caffeine is a nootropic that a lot of people take. Nicotine is a nootropic. Depending on how you define nootropic, like all sorts of shit is nootropics, you know, like energy drink stuff. But like the fact that caffeine is a nootropic, for example, then it's like, okay, well, how do we even define what a nootropic is? And like where do we draw the line of like where something should be regulated or not? Because you could argue, for example, that like, should we regulate drinking coffee? Like, coffee is regulated in a lot of ways, sure, but it's like you like there's nothing wrong with taking a nootropic in the form of drinking coffee, I think. So it's like, okay, well, you draw that line, and then you have to draw the line of like, okay, well, where it starts to do harm. So then it's like, okay, well, a lot of herbal supplements don't do harm in that sense. So maybe that should be fine, like provided with enough regulation. But then now you start undercutting like the opinion part of it all, because like, you know, nootropics should be heavily regulated and like it's harmful to take them if you don't know what you're doing. Like, you know, except caffeine, except for these herbal stuff, and except for this, and except for that. My ADHD medication, for example, that could be a nootropic, but that's prescribed and like that is regulated. But like, like, how does that combine with sort of like brain force plus pills? Like, why is there an overlap there? And there's only an overlap there because of the category of nootropic existing. Anyway, so like this is a whole thing. I need to stop rambling. So my problem here was essentially that like I had a hard time making that opinion and arguing for that opinion in a way that I found quite useful. And then I started thinking about taxes, because it's tax season in France, at least in the way that I have to register my taxes. And I found myself actually having a lot of strong opinions about them, because I've also legislated taxes when I used to be in politics. Like I have been in the power to actually legislate and vote about taxes, so I should feel justified having a lot of opinions about taxes and why I have them. So that's a lot better. Hi, Desi. Hi. Hello. Does nootropics make you pregnant? I need to do that bit more. It was very fun. This is a problem in a lot of video essays. I don't want the Wikipedia summary. I want you to argue for what you believe. Yes! Fuck! I hate it when I'm watching a YouTube video and like 10 minutes before the end I'm like, oh, hold on, you're not actually arguing for an opinion you have, you're just explaining something. And I'm like, okay, that's not what I signed up for, but okay. Finally catching the live stream. Yeah, I'm bad with having them regularly. I need to get better with it. Imagine being bullied for your name by someone named Johansson. I know. Swedes have the most ridiculous fucking names. Having to do my own research for a paper trip. Listen, I'm really bad when people ask me sort of like, what are the good tourist spots? I don't know. For my birthday this year, I went to a train museum. You know what I mean? I went to see the presidential carriage of the president of France, the one that Charles de Gaulle had. Like, you know, that's this type of shit that I find exciting. That's the kind of tourism stuff that I go to. So that's fun. It's edutainment for the modern age. Yeah, and like, yes, and like I find edutainment, I think, is fine. You know what I mean? Edutainment is perfectly fine. Like, I like Crash Course. I like Crash Course isn't even that. Crash Course is just pretty good education. But like I like a lot of like explainy edutainment stuff. Like there's nothing wrong with that necessarily, but I think a lot of video essayists occupy a space where that is not the thing that they are claiming to be. They're claiming to be sort of like, I have opinions and I want to change the world for something, but they're not actually doing that. They are simply just, they're just depicting the world rather than furthering the world, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It makes a lot of sense to me in my mind, actually, but hi Mia, horror thunk, loving be gay soul crime so far. Me too. I'm having a lot of fun. For those of you who don't know, me and two good friends, Jesus, the music is way too loud. Me and two good friends, November Kelly and Lucy the Librarian, have been making a podcast about detectives and detective fiction, like Sherlock Holmes and whatnot, called Be Gay Solve Crimes. And it's very fun. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's good. You should listen to it. I had to sit out the most recent episode recording because of mental health, but they're very understanding, thankfully. So I'm very happy about that. We have a good time. We recorded an episode on Inspector Gadget, the Inspector Gadget movie sequel, Inspector Gadget 2, and I damn near lost my mind crying, laughing so many times in recording that video, that podcast. It was so goddamn fun. And also, like, I think it's not educational in any sense, that podcast. That is simply just for my enjoyment. But it is making me, it is fun to, because the gist of the idea is that like all detectives are transgender, and there is a interesting point, I think, of analyzing a lot of media that have no queer connection to it whatsoever. Like there's no queer intention. There's nothing, like the authors never intended therefore to be any gender involved, but to view a lot of media through like a transgender lens, I think is very interesting. I think it's very fun. So like Inspector Gadget, the sequel, Inspector Gadget is a cyborg whose body doesn't always obey him and doesn't always do the things that he wants it to do. That's kind of transgender. But then also he has to, replace some computer chips in his body with that of a female robot, so that his gadgets actually do the things he wants them to do, so that he can be more of himself. Like that's anyway, I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's a good podcast. You will like it. I need to release a new video so that I can talk about it in that video and actually, like, how do you say, announce it a bit further. Also, I never answered the question. Did I try any brain boosting supplements to give you the edge while finishing the nootropics video? I tried. So like I have my usual ADHD medication, which is fine. I'm trying to use it less because it's not great. It's not great on the old ticker, on the old heart valves. You know what I mean? Because I'm also 2 meters tall, and having something that increases my heart rate above like a normal level every day, not very good. So I'm trying to reduce it a little bit. Because again, I had like 4 family emergencies, one after another, and I kind of got me thinking about health. But I have tried a lot of the other sort of nootropics that are out there to sort of help manage my ADHD symptoms without the actual medications. And like they do not work. Like they may have, let's say the lisdexamfetamine works 100% at alleviating symptoms. It doesn't cure ADHD, that's not how it works, but like it does. Like I have a problem where I can't focus, this shit makes me focus, right? 100%. I tried, like as part of making that video, like the full cocktail of like lion mane's mushroom and the other ones that are good, and everything, and I felt like they worked like maybe 10-15% of alleviating symptoms, which is not nothing. But, and this was going to be a big point in the video, and will be in the video when it actually eventually comes out in the future. Did not like the nootropics that I got also did contain, like, I would say for the most part, just caffeine. And like, are you really giving me like the herbal supplements at that point? Like, are you really giving me the sort of like the brain force mushroom herbs things that can like actually boost your brain power? Or am I just getting like, getting the equivalent of drinking 6 coffees every day? You know? And how good is that for heart health? Better than lisdexamfetamine, turns out. Hi, hello. Train good. That's very true. Train museums are great. Yes. And so many trans like trains. Why do we always say trans women are rail women? Trains women are rail women. That's a classic joke and I love it. Have you seen the 1970s Disney Robin Hood movie? I have to double check which one. Is that always the cartoon one? Oh yeah, for sure I have. So this is a Swedish thing. Every year for Swedish Christmas, there is a Disney montage that runs on state TV. And I don't know why this is just a tradition that has happened. Like, it happens every single year. We call it watching Donald Duck, even though like he's a very small part of it now that I think about it. It's just because he chases the woodpecker. Anyway, it's like a Disney Christmas montage, and one part of that montage is from the Disney Robin Hood movie, and because of that, like every one of those classic Disney movies that feature in that montage, including like Ferdinand the Bull, like, okay, which is also, I guess, a movie or a Disney short or whatever they used to call it. All of those things have been seen by many Swedish kids because they want to see the full cartoon, not just the thing that's in the montage. So I definitely have seen that. I always think of the evil Prince John looking at all his gold and delightedly shouting, "Taxes, taxes, taxes." The montage, however, is dubbed in Swedish, which is also very fun. Because you get to hear like Swedish voice actors. Because this also thing has been going like since the 80s or something like that. Since the 70s, probably. And like those voice actors, like the voice over quality from like a Swedish dub of the 1973 Disney Robin Hood movie is not the best, but it's like, it's good enough where it's kind of fun. Do you know a philosopher called Mead or Plesner? I've heard of Plesner. I don't know the philosopher Mead, although I do consume. I do consume mead. one thing that also like really started spinning off on the nootropics video was like, because harm was like, for me, like not enough of like a point of discussion for like an opinion piece type of thing, and because the topic was so wide, and because like drawing the lines of where everything is like okay to use or whatnot, like things that would affect my opinion, I ended up like having like a huge segment on like neuroenhancement and the ethics of neuroenhancement. Because like, what if at some point, like students take like ADHD medications so to study better in school, but if you look at studies, like it doesn't actually work that well. But like one day, what if there could be a pill that actually did make you smarter? Like, would that be an ethical thing to do? Because that is what a lot of nootropics kind of claim to do. They are, you know, they claim to want to try to make you smarter. But then, yeah, transhumanism, because like at that point we're coming in, like at that point, like we're not just talking about sort of like, oh, gas station like smart pills are dangerous for you. We're talking about like the philosophy of transhumanism and the ethics of transhumanism, what it means to be human. Like I had a whole thing about Brave New World, like a 15-minute segment about, is it Aldous Huxley? God, I'm Brave New World. It is Aldous Huxley, thank God. Oof, I almost outed myself as being functionally illiterate. I can read. I know how to read. But I had like a 15-minute piece about Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. Because there's a drug called Soma in it, which is like it's like a whole thing that makes you happy. Like, so it's like and at that point, it's not just about sort of like pharmacological ethics. It's also about sort of like what it means to be a person. Like, are we maybe morally obligated to give people happy drugs if such a thing existed? And then it's like, no, that's immoral. But then what about antidepressants? Like, I'm a depressed person. Like, what if you, like, is it immoral to give people antidepressants? Because it doesn't that make you less human? Like, it's a whole, like, that's not what, like, the video balloons so much from there. Whereas the tax video, taxes are so much easier to understand for me in my mind. Because I've noticed this ever since starting my ADHD medication, that like I'm really good with paperwork and bureaucracy. I'm really good at that shit. So it's like once I was like, I have an opinion, which is like we should have one type of tax that we don't really have a lot, and that we don't really talk a lot about. But this is a type of tax that I think we should probably implement a lot. That's a pretty easy thing, right? And then I can argue for why we should have that type of tax. It's a very straightforward thing. I can add stuff to it, like why we have certain amount of taxes, how taxes work in general. But at the end of the day, like it's pretty, like that just adds to that argument, a very simple sort of like a simple core of my argument, which is this is a type of tax I think we should have. I'm on an ADHD waiting list for years, and every so often I try stuff like lion's mane, and it works for 2 days before the placebo wears off. Yeah, I know the feeling. I love dealing with paperwork. There's something about bureaucracy where I understand it. I was made to work in like the DMV. You know what I mean? I noticed this when I was in politics, and I just sort of like, I kind of reached a flow state of like, I started as I started legislating on taxes, I was like, I understand taxes now. I understand boat rental fees, because that's also something that we like legislated around. I understand permission slips and filing deadlines and shit. Like, I just, I entered this like memento bullshit. Memento, that's not it. Anyway. Anonymous asks a little bit. Anonymous asked an anonymous question. How's it going with your think tank? It's going well. I have been trying to not put too much effort into the think tank itself, just because it is a project that is big in scope and takes a long time to organize. And when I put out the call to action for people to sort of like ask me if they were interested, there were so, like, I expected wholly seriously, I expected there to be like maybe 100 people who emailed me to say that they were interested. Maybe 100 people, maybe half of those were like serious people who were seriously interested, right? And I had over 1,000 people who sent in stuff, and like the vast majority of them were like not just like, oh, I'm interested, like keeping the mailing list. Like a lot, like people, I got people sending me like their like PhD theses and like resumes. I got people sending me like cover letters for the shit, and I'm like, this isn't a job. Like this is just like a. Like, so I made a Google Forms thing. So because everyone sent me different information, and I'm like, okay, well, people want to contribute, but I need a way to standardize this a little bit. So I sent out Google Forms to standardize it a little bit more. And now the next steps is that like in the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna try to sort through that a little bit and contact the people who say they wanted to be part of the core working group, and the ones who said that they could dedicate the most time to it, and start up a provisional board, and then from there try to do something there. I run on an extraordinarily strict schedule, and I schedule at least 2 hours a day on this thing, and most of that has been filling out paperwork. Because there's a lot of legal stuff forming organizations, especially things that deal with think tank related stuff, and like registering websites and stuff like that. Geshen asks if I have new glasses. Yes, I have new glasses. This is technically my spare set now, and it's very sad, because my old ones are here, and as you can see, they're a little bit broken. Because they broke. They fell on a hard floor, and the hinge, like here, between this thing, whatever you call that one, and the rim, snapped off. So these are my primary glasses for now, but I will fix my old ones because I think I prefer them. They have a bit of a slimmer rim and a bit of a rounder. They have a bit of a rounder rim, so I'm gonna have them repaired, I think. But for now, these are my main ones. I need new lenses also. I realized this because I spent a day, 2 days, something like that, like a day or 2 days without glasses, and I realized that I straight up can't see without my glasses anymore. When I got my last pair of glasses, because if you look at my very earliest videos, you can see that I don't wear glasses in them, and you can also see that all the videos are very blurry because I couldn't tell the difference when I edited it or setting up the camera. And at that point, I was like, well, I could still like read text on paper, and I could still, navigate the world outside without glasses. So for some reason, I just never thought that I needed glasses. But when I started making videos, I started noticing that, like, oh, I can't tell when I'm in focus or not. So got glasses. And now I think my vision with glasses is almost as bad as my vision was then without glasses. Because my vision has deteriorated so much. So that sucks. Antonio Leonardo asks, have you read any good books lately? Yes, I have. I'm currently reading this, The Economic Weapon. The Rise of Sanctions as a Tool of Modern War. I am loving it. For those of you who are like geopolitics and like policy, political theory wonks like me, people who start political think tanks for fun, like me, this is a good one. But if you don't want to read about World War I League of Nations tariffs and why and the various philosophies around the economic weapon of sanctions, you can read other stuff. I have also been reading, I guess most recently, The Faith of Beasts, which is by, oh god, what's the goddamn name of it? Faith of Beasts. James S.A. Corey, that's the one. James S.A. Corey. Yes, the Economic Weapon by Nicholas Mulder. It is the same name as me. It is true. Unrelated, no relation. I forgot. That's yes. Yeah, but I've been reading the Faith of Beasts by James S.A. Corey, which is the same author. It's a pen name for two authors, but it's the same author as the Expanse series of books, which I'm also very, very much into. And the Faith of Beasts came out not too long ago, I think. Like a month or so ago. Maybe a month and a half. Yeah. And I like it. It's extraordinarily transgender. Like I know it's a meme now with the podcast that I do, but like there's a character in it who has like a scene where they're literally like doing a character creation stuff in a mirror, and sort of like and also having scenes where they're discussing like feeling emotions of not being able to express themselves as a woman because of them having a male body, and it's like, oh, I can't do certain things that I would like to do because of my male physiology, so I'm going to change it. And they do, and it's like, but it's like a science fiction stuff, and I'm like, what the hell? It's like, it's good stuff. But it's also like just like really good classic science fiction bullshit, which I like. I like space shrimp, you know. I love a space snail. Give me a space snail any day. Battling through Naruto again. I have never been interested in like the anime or the mangas much, but I'm starting to dip my toes in One Piece, and I fear it's going to take over my life. I fear if I jump into that pool, it will devour me and destroy me from the inside. Yeah. Do you have an entry-level theory you could recommend? I tried Das Kapital. Oh, Das Kapital is bad to start with. Couldn't make it past chapter 1. Yeah, Das Kapital is... it's not a good start. I would start maybe with, I don't remember the author's name because I'm bad with names, but it's called Capital for the 21st Century. Capital for the 21st Century by Piketty. Of course, his name is fucking Piketty. That's the one. I forget. I remember it right now. Thomas Piketty, Capital in the 21st Century. It is a bit of a like a lib take, slightly libby, but I would say generally like if we're talking about like if you want to have like pure like left, like traditionally left wing theory, like either you can like read Hegel and start from the like the traditional start, or you can do it the much easier route, which is to read something contemporary and work your way backwards, which I think is more interesting. So I think that Piketty, I don't agree with Piketty on everything, but I do think that reading Capital for the 21st Century is like you read it and he speaks about things in terms of like the modern day economy, which makes so that when like he mentions various more traditional theories, or like theoretical like arguments that more traditional arguments by like Marx and other more traditional thinkers, you already have that in the context of what a modern economy looks like, because one thing that can happen when you start with the traditional literature, which I think is a mistake. I think some people will be like, you have to start with reading like dialectical materialism, and then work your way up to the modern day. I think that's bullshit. That doesn't work, because what will happen is a lot of people will read like Adam Smith on the Prosperity of Nations. I don't know, is that the name of it? Anyway, Adam Smith, father of the field of economics, one could say. Some say father of liberalism, but I would disagree. He has like a whole thing where he talks about how bad landlords are, and I agree. I hate landlords, and many thinkers, for example, I'm not going to spoil too much about what my video is about, for example, but for example, like Henry George also has a whole thing about like how landlords suck. Wealth of Nations, that's the one. Like many thinkers talk about how bad landlords are, and I agree. But one mistake that a lot of people will make when reading the traditional literature is that they think about landlords in the terms of, I live in an apartment, I pay rent to my landlord, right? But that's not the type of landlord that they're talking about. They are talking about literally the people who own the land upon, like they own land which they rent out, not buildings, which is different. Like for the purposes of some argument, the arguments do sort of translate over. Like there are similarities you can make about what the arguments that Adam Smith is doing about landlords that you could make about landlords today. But one big argument that Adam Smith is doing is sort of like how landlords will profit off of the things that nobody can own that just come from nature. Well, apartments don't come from nature, and let's even in sort of like an ideal scenario, like having the building and like technically maintaining electricity in the building is doing something more than just having it be nature. You know what I mean? So the arguments don't perfectly transition over. So sometimes people will like reference Adam Smith and talking about how he hated landlords, but Adam Smith would not consider what we call landlords. You know what I mean? You can make the translations for many arguments, because from an economic point of view, especially unproductive landlords like slumlords, for example, from an economist point of view, like the solutions and the problems for why they exist and how they can continue to operate and why they exist as a problem in the economy are kind of the same, but for slightly different reasons. It's like instead of having an unproductive piece of land, it's like having an unproductive building and on a piece of land, which then like further on makes the land itself unproductive. So it's like the same thing, but with extra steps, but only for unproductive landlords. If you're a productive landlord, in the sense of like you do maintain the building well, there is a lot of work that the landlord does put into it, a lot of labor, one could say, putting into it, then the argument doesn't work as well. But because all landlords are grouped into one big thing, it becomes different. Anyway, so that's one. So anyway, so my argument here is that I think starting from traditional theory is bullshit. Another one is, oh fuck, what's his name? David Graeber's book. I'm so bad with names. David Graeber's, what was it, his last thing? Bibliography. Oh my god, why can't I? Yes, one I like. Was this posthumously? Hold on, I need to see when this book came out. Okay, it came out after he died. Very sad. The Dawn of Everything: A New History of Humanity, by David Graeber and David Wengrow, I think is, I think is very good. I think is excellent. And Graeber's other stuff I think is also very good. I think it's very approachable, very easy to read, very easy to get into. Like you don't need to sort of like have a, like, you don't need to have done homework before reading Graeber's work. You know what I mean? And I think that that's something that I really appreciate. So I think those two would be sort of like my key suggestions. I even read Hegel in German. Oh, I've tried that and I didn't like it. But then again, I don't read I don't know German very good. I can read. I can, like, here's the thing. Here's what I like about having studied history. I used to be able to read old, like, 19th century German handwriting, because that is what, like, a lot of the letters that I used for my research was in. But then, you know, a decade passed and I haven't studied history in a while. So, have I read Adrian Tchaikovsky yet? Yes, I have. And I what's it called? Fuck. Children of Time. That's the one. Children of Time, with the spiders. I read that one, and I loved it. Alien Clay, also loved it. And I think so far those are the only two I've read of him so far. But I have started reading Tchaikovsky. I have. I'm currently trying to finish Metro 2033, just because I haven't actually finished it. I've been I'm like, I always make my way like 75% along the way, and then I don't quite stick the landing. But I'm there. Kropotkin's Conquest of Bread is also good, very good. Also like classic, but also good. And like I'm a little biased here. I also think that Paul Lafarge, the right to be lazy, is also quite nice. Even though I know a lot of people don't like it, but I like it. But I'm biased. I like Lafarge. Landlords would be what we would call in the UK landed gentry. Kind of, yes. That is what many classical thinkers, when they refer to landlords, that is what they are referring to, as sort of like a wholly unproductive class within the economy. Whereas like many of the theories about why landlords exist and why they are bad, while I like 75% of them like translate perfectly well into what we call landlords today, are not technically the same, just because of like it kind of works when land is involved, but it doesn't always work when it's not, because it's really about the land. It's about the dirt, not the building. The building makes things a bit more complicated. So the key ingredients for Marxism can be traced back to two Scottish guys who were best friends. That's very true. Capital takes Smith classical economics as a starting point for critique. Yes. Hegel is part of German idealism. Yeah. I mean, I think Wealth of Nations is one of those books that's just like, you reading it in the original style is impossible, but there are modern takes on it, which is sort of like a doubling of the book a little bit, because like it is a book on its own, but because it's old, you can get books about that book which still contains that book, but also puts it in context and explains it. I don't unfortunately have a good example of one, because it's been a while since I read it. Like the difference between leasehold houses and renting a house in the UK. As far as I understand, if you buy a leasehold house, you own the house but are renting the land it's built on. Yeah, like that also complicates things, right? Like, so, because that's also a thing that exists. Some great suggestions. Thank you. I hope I'm glad. I almost got into his fantasy series, but then I realized how many books there are. Yeah, like I haven't read Tchaikovsky's fantasy stuff. I'm sure it's great. I really like what I've read so far from his science fiction stuff. I do remember reading the sequel to Children of Time, which I called like Children of Strife or something like that. I don't know which one. It's the second one in that, and I didn't get into it very much at all. I probably will once I give it a second chance. But Children of Time really hooked me. Children of Clay really hooked me. Loved Children of Clay. Children of Clay. Alien Clay. But I really, yeah. But now, yeah, right now I'm rereading Faith of Beasts and Metro, and I'm finishing Metro 2033, and slowly but surely trying to finish this. Kropotkin is great. Love this book about help between animals. He's the nicer Marx. He is the nicer Marx. He's nice. He's a nice guy. I'm a big fan of Marx myself, but you know, one can be a fan of both. I don't see why not. I'm very big into sort of like non-denominational lately. Big tent leftism. I can't pronounce that word. Ecumeniological. The thing that the churches do. The thing that like the Catholic Church does with like with like the other churches, where they sort of like meet and they hold hands and they try to cooperate a little bit, despite being different. I don't know. Fourth book in the series just came out. Ooh, maybe I should give the second book in the series a try. Anyway, okay. We've been streaming for an hour. This has been great. Ecumenical. I have an accent. I'm trying to learn French at the same time. Je ne sais pas ecumenical. So, okay, I'm going to we've been streaming for an hour. This has been great. Love streaming. I need to get like the surgery that makes your brain work all the time, so that I can remember and also have the energy to do the streams every month, because this is great. I love doing this. This is very fun. I've had a whale of a time. But it has been an hour, and I am also in a room with no ventilation in the middle of a heat wave, with a big bright studio light, and a big warm computer, and the fan off so it doesn't interfere with the microphone. And I am sweating buckets over here, because it's a heat wave here in Central Europe. Hope mental health I'll have for a bit more of these often from now on. Me also. I love these streams, and every time I do them, I always remember how good they are and how much I enjoy them. So this has been fun. Thank you all for hanging out. I'll be posting the streaming schedule on the old Patreon next week. I will, because I have it on my schedule, and I've been following that shit like a lunatic lately. And hopefully soonish I'll have a new video out. If I get really lucky, I'll be posting teasers by the end of next week, because I'll be recording a lot next week if I'm lucky. I'm gonna reach the end of the chat, so if you have something that you want me to ramble about really quickly, you should drop it in the chat right now and I'll get to it. But once I reach the end, I'm gonna call it for the day, and thank you all for hanging out. This has been great. Is the poor dog suffering from the heat? Yeah, he is. But in our household, we have one big fan, and it's constantly pointed right at the dog. And I've also taken the mantle of bad cop, which means that I try to, like, once an hour, once every 2 hours, go over to my dog with a little mug of water and get his ears wet, and then I like pour a little water like in his neck and a little bit on his head and on his belly and in his armpits and stuff like that to help cool him down. And he fucking hates it. He hates my guts when I do this. I am the devil incarnate. And then like 15 minutes later, he's like, "Oh, I'm happy. Oh, look at me. I'm so cool. I can walk around. I can jump around. I'm so happy. I'm such a happy dog. I'm not even struggling from the heat at all." I do not. These two things do not correlate. How am I dealing with languages? I'm doing okay. I don't speak a lot of Swedish these days, but when I am like thrust into accidentally speaking some Swedish, like my brain has to spend a few seconds rewiring to remember how to speak Swedish. I mostly speak English, and when I have to speak French, I don't know enough, but I know enough where I can at least make people not super uncomfortable, and I'm happy about that. Streams are worth listening to. Thank you so much. I love to hear that. See you when you stream. I love heat waves. Me also. Okay. Thank you so much for hanging out. This has been great. I can't wait to see you again very soon. Yeah, this has been great. Bye-bye.